Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the Online Series 9 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. It was the start of a brand new season yesterday, so we're just jumping right into things, and the first team of the day has some pretty interesting Pokemon, including a Blacephalon and a Arctozolt. By the way, Series 10 rules for the next format were released yesterday, and I'll probably do a more in-depth video sometime soon covering it. But if you haven't seen, it's basically the Series 8 rule set, which is one legendary Pokemon allowed. However, no more Dynamax, and so yeah, you won't be able to Dynamax, which is super interesting. I haven't really, theoried it very much so far, nor have I tried it out at all, but I'm curious on what your early initial thoughts are, and I'm going to try to do one of those, early impression videos that I normally try to make for a brand new rule set. So I definitely was not expecting it at all, and it should be interesting to play out. Anyway, first game of the day, and they have Tornadus, so Tailwind's going to be a big problem. There's just a lot of wild stuff here. That's basically it. Excadrill scares me the most. Is it gonna be another like Primarina? Is Primarina Excadrill? That could be it. Okay, I'm actually pretty scared about that. So I like leading Togekiss. This is such a weird comp to go up against. I don't love Obstagoon here. I kind of want to try Togekiss, Thundurus, Kartana, and then Tyranitar. I don't love this matchup here, but I just don't really know what like the clear strategy on my opponent's team is, but it also doesn't matter because I think they just have some Pokemon that match up really well into us, like the Excadrill, for example, as well as Primarina. Blacephalon and Arctozolt are both really interesting as well, so yeah, I'm eager to just see what my opponent's team has, but details for this team are in the description below if you want to try it out yourselves, and yeah, thanks so much as always for watching. So it's going to be, this is actually a pretty favorable lead for us, all things considered. Like, I get a Thundurus out, which is nice, but I think it's decently likely my opponent pivots out into Excadrill. Primarina into Excadrill here would make a lot of sense, right? If Primarina goes out into Excadrill, I mean, I can get a knockout onto Tornadus, but, like, I don't even really need to KO. Kind of want to just Dazzling Gleam and Electro Web here. I guess the thing is, if I want to read the Excadrill switch and I could Dark Pulse, it's actually kind of tempting. But I think I'm just going to Electro Web here turn one. We'll see what they go for. Oh, interesting. They don't switch. Okay. I don't mind that too much, then. Unless Primarina, like, Hydro Cannons, it shouldn't KO us. We're still faster with Landorus-T. Okay. I mean, we take those. Okay. I do think there's a decent chance the Primarina is going to try to... That's where the weakness policy is? I was going to say, I thought it was going to activate weakness policy on Excadrill. Yikes, but it's pretty slow, so we still outspeed it. Okay, it's not the end of the world. They're probably going to Hyper Voice, KO the Landorus-T. And they just go for Moonblast. Okay. Into Togekiss. I actually would have preferred that to knockout, I think. Interesting. Anyway, that was not how I expected turn 1 to play out at all. I could have just, like, T-bolted into Primarina, but I like Electro Web in that position, and it's going to be Blacephalon coming out. What in the world? Okay. If you're bringing Blacephalon, I already outspeed your Primarina. Could obviously go for, like, Mind Blown. What if I just max Thundurus here? Like, the play I want to make is Protect Togekiss. Dynamax and max Darkness into Blacephalon. Because even though my opponent has Tailwind up, the Primarina is still slower than us. Okay, so they're going to max Blacephalon. Huh. Interesting. Okay. This just gets wilder and wilder, that's for sure. Follow Me Electro Web would have worked out pretty well for us here then, all things considered, but... Maybe I didn't need to be so worried about, not mine, Mind Blown? Is that the move? No, that's the signature move. I'm thinking of the spread move. It is Mind Blown, right? Yeah. I was scared of that just like KOing Thundurus, but this might be worse for us now. Anyway, really cool team for my opponent. Just already a lot of wild strategies, and that's what you typically run into, especially as you're climbing up to Master Ball tier, right? But I don't know if Blacephalon is really that scary. They're gonna Phantasm, okay, into Thundurus, nicely called. Yeah, I mean, if it's just Phantasm into a Hyper Voice here, that's pretty bad, right? Well, then it depends on how fast Primarina is, because our Togekiss outspeeds. Their Life Orb as well, okay. So we'll get the Max Darkness off here, although I could have gone for, like, Helping Hand or something. Oh, that's just one-shots. Okay. See ya, Blacephalon. Nice. Well, that's huge. Yeah, that's why I was kind of surprised to see it max, but my opponent probably didn't feel like they were at risk of getting one-shot by the Landorus-T, so Landorus-T having Dark Pulse is really nice for us once again. And they continue to Moonblast rather than Hyper Voicing. Do they not have Hyper Voice? Like, are you Torrent? That would be, like, the best explanation I can come up with. Urshifu's their last one, so this should just be game over, right? Because my opponent only has one turn of Tail. No, they still have 2 turns there. Ooh, okay, 2 turns means this isn't over yet. Hold on. Let's be careful here. I think... Yeah, actually, if we just go for Follow Me, we're faster with Thundurus against them. So we can just Follow Me Max Lightning. That KO's Primarina, so unless they have Aqua Jet, which I don't think they will at this point, yeah. There's not really much they can do. So, a lot of scary Pokemon for my opponent's team there. But in the end, just like... I'm not sure what the overarching, like, synergy was. And, you know, it's not like every team needs, like, super strong synergy, right? You don't need, like, apparent synergies if your Pokemon are just strong Pokemon. But the Primarina being as slow as it was a little bit confusing, just because, you know, the whole point of setting up Tailwind is so that Pokemon like Primarina can outspeed, so that was beneficial for us. We take those. Okay, very classic Sun team here for the next game. So, yeah, that game could have gone a lot worse. I was honestly pretty scared of the Arctozolt, but the main thing was just Landorus-T being able to one-shot Blacephalon. That's why you don't see Blacephalon that frequently. It's just, it's not exactly the bulkiest Pokemon, unfortunately. So, yeah. Classic Sun. Huh. I mean, I think Landorus-T is just one of the tougher Pokemon to go up against for this team. That's what the team creator mentioned as well, which is why there's Icy Wind on Obstagoon now. I don't know, I like the idea of leading Obstagoon for Icy Wind pressure. Togekiss is interesting for redirection, but... I think if I had Yawn, I'd feel more comfortable with Togekiss, but without Yawn, it just doesn't feel like I get, like, that much value out of it. Okay, I'm actually thinking Obstagoon, Kartana, T-Tar, Dracovish. I feel like one other approach we could have gone with here was like Dragon Dancing with Tyranitar, but I don't know. Either way, yeah, that surprise weakness policy is always really, really scary. But that last game highlights why Tailwind users like Tornadus and Whimsicott can sometimes be like detrimental, where they just don't offer you very much past turn 1. Well, I guess in that game, actually, Tornadus just went down. It's not like it's stuck on the field for forever, so that's actually not a great example. Okay, Urshifu plus Aleki. We don't outspeed max speed Aleki. I don't love that. Got Icy Wind, knock off Switcheroo. T-Tar Dracovish in the back. So, like, I probably just want to knock out Urshifu ASAP. If I want to do that, you know what I can actually do? I could just switch Obstagoon out into Tyranitar. They might close combat the Obstagoon slot, though, which is what I'm worried about. So, I think I'm just going to Icy Wind turn 1. I don't love maxing Kartana here, but I feel like if I don't, I'm in a pretty bad spot. Okay, so they're not going to max. Yeah, I mean, Kartana's not a bad max option here. Obviously, I have to worry about Intimidate. It's still, like the Landorus in the back is still scary, but at least I do have Dracovish. So Dracovish is, like, the endgame win con against it. Venusaur as the back two makes a lot of sense, but it'd be really interesting if they actually didn't bring Landorus, because I thought Landorus was pretty good into us, but maybe, you know, they're a little bit scared. Okay. I think Urshifu close combat's Obstagoon here, but yeah. If I pulled the switch there, I guess this is still a really awkward position to be in. Like, honestly, it might have been worth sacrificing Tyranitar. So we'll max Airstream. But now they can just Electro Web again. Now, I could have led T-Char Dracovish. But the thing is, if I lead T-Char Dracovish, they can just switch out into Torkoal. Like, they surely have Torkoal in the back. So, yeah, I think the play was to actually just sack T-Char here and trade. Because Urshifu is the main threat, right? Okay, I think I'm gonna go out into Dracovish here, and I am gonna. It's just if I switch Dracovish out into Tyranitar, like I want to switch out into T-Char here. Max Overgrowth. If you're my opponent, I don't know. Electro Web / Wicked Blow into Dracovish makes a lot of sense. You could also close combat, obviously, cover for the switch out option. But I could at least force it to be a 2v2, although if my opponent has Torkoal Venusaur in the back, I probably end up losing, right? So is there any way around this? I don't need to win the Weather War. Maybe they double up onto Kartana here? Oh, I'm going to time out here. I really didn't know what the play was. Oh, maybe I didn't time out, actually? Okay, well, yeah, this was the play I was thinking of initially, but losing a Pokemon on turn 1 is just a big bummer, and that's the downside of Obstagoon. It can't outspeed max speed Alecki. I mean, that's the downside of running Choice Scarf on most Pokemon, is that Alecki is just faster than most things anyway. So what I'm hoping for here is that my opponent launch the close combat into Kartana, and then we pick up a double KO with Overgrowth, and then the sand damage knocking out Urshifu. But I think it's pretty unlikely. Okay, they do close combat Kartana, though. That's exactly what I needed, so this is what I was aiming for. Assuming I didn't time out with Kartana. Okay, that is Overgrowth. Nice, we got it in on time. Is this KO, though? Nice. Okay, so there's still a chance, because the thing is, now I could pivot T-Char back out into Dracovish. The problem is that you just bring out Torkoal Venu, right? And I -1 speed as well. I had to make this... No, I didn't have to make the switch. Oh, I could have just attacked with both. Yeah, that switch was unnecessary. And if I had attacked with both, then what I could have done is if my opponent's last two are Torkoal Venu, which it should be, I can immediately win the Weather War. Yeah, I didn't play that properly. I thought that was the best possible play, but I think I needed to just bank off my opponent doubling up on Kartana in that position. Because I think now my opponent should just win the game. Although, oh, interesting. Okay, so they did bring Landorus, which means no Torkoal. It's still pretty tough to win, though, right? Yeah, I don't think I can win still. Should Gmax Vinelash Tyranitar? I guess I'm going to Dragon Dance and go for a max Airstream here. I think my opponent should still end up winning this. I do have Dracovish in the back, which can obviously one-shot the Landorus, so... Well, if Landorus maxes, then not necessarily. Dragon Dance is kind of useless. I think it's better to just go for a Crunch. Okay, they are going to max Landorus. Yeah, that is the correct play. Because you can just max Airstream Kartana and then go for a Grass-type attack onto Venusaur. Yeah, smart. Yep. That's exactly what they go for. Airstream into T-Tar. Okay. I mean, I guess they're Earth powering Kartana here. Does that KO with AV? Okay, it does. I mean, I'll take it. Tyranitar survives the turn, but I could have gotten a Rock Slide off here. So yeah, I don't love Dragon Dancing. Airstream makes sense. Does it? It does give you a speed boost, but now I do get Dracovish out. Yeah, I think like Crunch would have been better because if I miss a knockout on Landorus now by like, you know, 5-10%, it's going to be because I didn't go for residual, or I go for an attack with the Tyranitar. Yeah, the main thing here was that Obstagoon was just completely useless, unfortunately, and it would have worked out if my opponent led Landorus. That's what I was trying to bait, but they were smart in leading Regieleki plus Urshifu. If I knew Regieleki plus Urshifu was coming out, I guess like Togekiss would be a decent lead, but even then, still pretty tough. Yeah, I'm just not really sure how to maneuver this matchup super well. And my opponent like was really smart in their lead. They didn't get baited into just leading Landorus, partially because Obstagoon probably scared off the Landorus a little bit. Yeah. Just gonna Rock Slide. I don't even know. I don't even know if Dracovish outspeeds right now in Sand, given that they're a +1 speed, but I guess we'll find out. Hey, we are. And that's why it was a waste to go for Dragon Dance. If I had just Rock Slided, yeah, we probably would have had this. The Dragon Dance, oh, I guess, unless we're still faster. Wait, they sludge. Oh, no, they still win, yeah. Yeah, this one's on me. Would I have won if I had crunched last turn? Let's see, if I had crunched, then Vicious Wren would have just one-shot Venusaur, then if you have Leaf Storm, you would still win. But, yeah. So now it's dependent on what Grass-type attack it has, because I can still win off my opponent missing a Leaf Storm, if that's their Grass-type attack, but... Yeah, Rock Slide last turn was not it. I just needed Chip onto Landorus. I wasn't sure, I thought like Vicious Wren would be a KO, so that was just a bad assumption on my end. And it makes sense, Landorus is Dynamaxed. Just got a little overzealous. +2 speed. Sandstorm is up, but a Grass-type attack I think still knocks out Tyranitar from this range. So, yeah. That was my main misplay this game. They are Leaf Storm, and they do hit it. And granted, like, my opponent could have just won this game earlier. Like, I think if they just max Airstreamed into Kartana, Leaf Stormed into Tyranitar, like, that would have just been an instant win, right? But I could have punished their slight misplay, and I misplayed by going for Dragon Dance. Like, because I think if you're my opponent, you should always max Airstream in that position just to get the speed boost. I guess, like, the Dragon Dance punishes them for not max Airstreaming, and if they didn't max Airstream, it would have actually won us the game, but, yeah, I thought Vicious Wren would KO Landorus-T, and that was a poor assumption on my end, so, yeah. But third game of the day, and there is an Alolan Raichu as well as a Tapu Koko. Okay, very cool. So Landorus is super good for us here, in my opinion. Yeah, I really, really like it. I think we should definitely be playing towards this. I think Thundurus T-Tar, for sure. AV Kartana feels pretty good here, too. Redirection is really interesting. Do I give Obstagoon a shot? Thundurus... Thundurus. Whimsicott's the lead I'm expecting. Whimsicott Celesteela is maybe a little bit scary. Oh, good. Dracovish doesn't feel very good for us even in the end game. I kind of want to try Thundurus, Obstagoon, T-Tar, and Kartana. T-Tar mainly because it does really well into Indeedee, Whimsicott, Koko, and Raichu. Kartana does pretty well into Dracovish. And I think Thundurus is a pretty prime max option here for us. So let's see. Yeah, the goal here is to... What is the goal? Well, first of all, see who they max. It's probably going to be Celesteela, if I were in my opponent's shoes, but it could just be Raichu as well. They go Whimsicott, Dracovish. Okay. Togekiss could have been a pretty good lead for us here. Pretty easy for them to just Tailwind Vicious Rend. This first turn is already kind of tricky. Don't want to max because of the Tailwind. If I were my opponent, what would I do? I'd probably Tailwind Vicious Rend into Thundurus. Could protect Icy Wind and then Icy Wind again next turn. This is pretty risky though, right? Because if my opponent just Tailwinds and Vicious Rends into Obstagoon, that's really bad for us. I should have led Togekiss. If I led Togekiss, I could have just gone Follow Me turn 1. Okay, they do Vicious Rend into Thundurus, but that's scary, right? Because I had to make a prediction turn 1. I don't love that. I also have no idea how fast the Obstagoon is here relative to us. It's the other scary thing. But regardless, I'm going to switch Thundurus out here because it's our main win condition. So I'm going to go into Kartana and then Icy Wind again. Because Thundurus beats everything in the back for my opponent's team. So my opponent's going to really try to just knock out Thundurus ASAP, and so I'm going to try to play around that as quickly as I can. Okay, they're going to go for a Moonblast. That's fine. I think we should survive. Nice. Special attack drop gives us a Defiant boost, but unfortunately we're choice locked anyway. Okay, and Dracovish is going to be slower than us. So I could have stayed in with Thundurus actually, but I'm fine confirming Dracovish's item here. Vicious Rend is going to hurt, but it's not going to KO us, so it's fine. Yep, there's the Rend. That is definitely banded. Definitely banded. That's okay. If you're choice banded, you only have 2 turns of Tailwind left. I think I just go for the knockout onto Kartana right now. So we can just Smart Strike the Whimsicott and Icy Wind again. Obstagoon's actually doing some stuff here though, so I'm happy about that. They switch out Dracovish, that makes sense. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you're choice banded right now. And Celesteela, which also makes sense. But this is why I wanted to conserve Landorus-T. Right now, we're primed for a pretty good Landorus-T endgame. Okay. Yeah, my opponent probably wasn't expecting Scarf Obstagoon here, so we outspeed. Actually, they probably could have figured that out. Either way, we get a knockout onto Whimsicott, which is nice. Denying them a second Tailwind is really critical for us right now. Okay. Beast Boost. Now they have one more turn of Tailwind left. Neither of us have Dynamaxed. We know it's Choice Band Dracovish. Dracovish comes back out. Oh, I've got T-Tar in the back. I feel like I need to switch Kartana out here. Thundurus is the main win con, so I want to switch Kartana out into T-Tar and then Icy Wind, but Celesteela scares me a lot right now. Oh, you know what? The other problem is, the other problem is if Celesteela just max Airstreams, then you give the Dracovish a speed boost. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's an issue. So the hope here is I can at least get an Icy Wind off onto Dracovish before I faint with Obstagoon. I don't know how fast their Celesteela is relative to us. We drop their speed by 1 stage. Tailwind is up. So if Obstagoon outspeeds and gets an Icy Wind off here, that's a really big deal, even if I lose both Pokemon. There's Sandrush Dracovish? Wow. Choice Band Sandrush, not Strongjaw. Okay, definitely did not see that coming. Oh wait, no, they don't necessarily have to be Sandrush, right? Yeah, sorry. They're just regular Dracovish. It's gotta be, right? But the problem is now Dracovish has a speed boost. They can just Vicious Rend into Thundurus, so I'm pretty sure I lose this game now. Unless for some reason, even at +1 speed, they're still... Oh, I guess the alternative is I could read this turn. I think I have to... I'm going to switch out into Kartana here, max the Thundurus. And Lightning. I don't even think that KOs Dracovish, but we'll find out. This game was all about speed control, and unfortunately with us not having Tailwind or any way to deny Tailwind, my opponent was always going to be faster. I think Togekiss plus Thundurus would have been a much more optimal lead. Especially because of how good Thundurus was into my opponent's entire team. Because with Togekiss Thundurus, I could have just gone Follow Me, Max Lightning turn 1, and they didn't have a good switch into Max Lightning. So, I didn't play well enough around the Landorus-T win condition, but that's fine. It happens. Okay. Wait, they're rending Kartana. Okay. That's what I needed to see for a chance of winning this game, I think. If Max Lightning can actually KO. I just don't think it does. Okay, it does. Alright, so we're still in this. It's probably Rockfall from Celesteela into Landorus-T. They could Airstream as well, but if they Airstream, that actually is fine with me. Yeah, it's Rockfall. I think I had to make that play, though. Thunderous does hang on. That's 2 turns of their Dynamax over now. The good thing is that we outspeed their Celesteela. I mean, Thunderous is the main win con. The remaining Pokemon are Raichu, Indeedee, and Koko. And Raichu plus Koko really can't do much against us. Nor can Indeedee, to be honest. It is going to be Raichu. You can go for a Psychic type attack, but that's not that scary. This next turn is really interesting, because obviously I want to launch Lightning into Celesteela and just crunch. I just don't know if Lightning one-shots in this position. I wouldn't think so, especially because most Celesteelas are Assault Vested. One play I could make is also Max Guard Thunderous, crunch into Raichu. I'm just nervous about, like, Rising Voltage into T-Tar. I think if I want a shot at winning this game, like, Max Lightning I don't think is going to knock out Celesteela anyway, because I'm expecting Assault Vest, so I like the Max Guard play here. Okay, they go for Grass Knot. That's fine. The question is who Celesteela targeted this turn. Because I could have won the game by just going for Max Darkness onto Raichu. Nice. Okay. So I think we'll actually end up winning this one. Ooh, that was really close, though. I had to get a lot of turns correctly in this game. I don't love that. But Obstagoon spamming Icy Wind was actually a huge help for us. Crit there, but yeah. we were at +2 attack, and it's a Alolan Raichu. Not exactly the bulkiest of Pokemon. Cool. So that's Celesteela's max. That's over. And yeah, there's really no way out of it now, right? Like, Celesteela can't KO both Pokemon quickly enough, plus we're still faster. So, that last turn was really scary. It was... This game felt like I needed to make some predictions to win, right? And, like, the scary thing is I needed to start predicting right on turn 1, which typically isn't a good sign. If you feel forced to make predictions immediately, it means that you led poorly, or maybe your team just didn't have an optimal lead matchup against their specific lead. But I did, right? With this team, the adjustment I would make is just go Togekiss Thunderous as well instead. Thunderous is just such a prime win condition here. Banded Dracovish makes a lot of sense given that they have Tailwind on their team as well, so it's like a fair assumption to make. So if I had just led, especially if you look at their team, they had no free switch-ins into Max Lightning. Even Raichu plus Koko still take a fair amount, right? Those aren't exactly the bulkiest Pokemon. So, like, I could have just gone Togekiss and Landorus-T, and especially because we have the Wakamberry on the Togekiss, even if they go with their electric types, it's still not that bad, and then I can even protect Togekiss turn 1. So, I just think I didn't lead super well in that game. We end up winning, but, like, you know, turn 1, I could have lost the game immediately if my opponent just targeted Obstagoon, and also in that end game, if Tyranitar feints there, they double up onto Tyranitar, I also easily could have lost. So, this is a game where you can easily say, you like, reflect on, be like, well, I won. It was like way too gritty of a win. And these are games where you want to ask yourself, like, how could I play better so that I don't have to, like, you know, be as pressured. And for me, at least the answer in this game is just leading better because my lead was not exactly the most optimal. So yeah, but pretty fast game. So I think we'll play a 4th here today. All right, final match, and there's a Magmar. What? This thing doesn't get follow me anymore though, right? The whole point of using Magmar back in the day was it was an XD exclusive, follow me specifically, and Sage and Park actually used it at the World Championships in 2013. But I have no idea what Magmar does anymore. Is there some like weakness policy set up here potentially? I don't know. Either way, another Tornadus. Going up against Tailwind is really hard. Just because, well, maybe, I don't know, we do have T-Char Dracovish. Tornadus Metagross was what I was really nervous about yesterday, right? Landorus-T actually feels pretty good for us here. If they lead Tornadus plus Metagross, Tailwind Hailstorm makes sense. Tailwind Hailstorm. How do I beat Tornadus Metagross? It's pretty funny. Someone yesterday was like, why in the world would you ever expect your opponent to bring Metagross when you have 2 strong dark types? And the reality is that, like, Metagross is just so bulky, it doesn't care about... No, I shouldn't say it doesn't care about super effective damage, but it often just shrugs it off. I don't know. I really don't like this. I got the Pokemon I wanted, I think, but like, I don't even know if I really want these Pokemon. Dracovish is probably worth bringing, but if I bring Dracovish, it means I need to bring Tyranitar. Like, it's really hard to justify bringing Dracovish by itself. If I'm my opponent, I'm going Tornadus, Metagross, Urshifu here, with that core. And there it is, Tornadus plus Metagross. Yeah, I don't think we have a good matchup against this. I get Helping Hand Max Darkness turn 1. Most Metagrosses carry 1 of Ice Punch or Rockfall, so they should have a way to hit Thundurus. I don't like Metagross just one-shots everything. Hope for them to Brutal Swing. Okay, I think I'm actually just gonna Helping Hand Max Darkness turn 1. No, that's not enough to KO, is it? I think Max Lightning's better, because the thing is, the idea yesterday when I was predicting Tornadus Metagross was to try to pick up a KO on Tornadus and let them only get 1 of Brutal Swing or Weakness Policy off. Sorry, Brutal Swing or Tailwind off. So you either get your Weakness Policy or your Tailwind, but not both. But the problem in the play that I made here is if I don't one-shot Metagross, which I don't really expect to, they'll survive, and I'll end up activating their Weakness Policy. So it doesn't really make that much sense, I feel like. Best case scenario here is turn 1. Actually, even if I activate Policy, it's fine, I guess, because then if you don't KO... Oh, it depends on who Metagross targets then. I feel like I had to make a more aggressive play than what I did. And by aggressive, sorry, not aggressive, more just like I needed to hard read my opponent's soul this turn. But this doesn't really do it. What? Wow. That is a play. It was my soul that got hard read. Oh. That is a really good play. Frustrating, because if I had just Max Lightning Tornadus, we'd be off to a pretty good start, but I think it makes a lot of sense, because even if I knock out Tornadus, I give my opponent a free switch in, and Metagross is just so stable in this matchup. Now, if you're my opponent, I would Brutal Swing, and then, like, I don't know, Rockfall or Ice Punch to Thundurus, so I almost want to Max Guard Thundurus here, but, like... I honestly don't think we can win at this point. That was a crazy good play by my opponent turn 1. Yeah, just well done. Guess I'll follow me Max Darkness here. But what a play. If they're Focus Sash on Tornadus, that play even makes more sense to me. No Brutal Swing came out. Did they not have it? Or I guess they're just expecting me to activate their policy, but now I'm a little frustrated because I could have gone Helping Hand Max Darkness. Oh, Togekiss survives. Very interesting. Okay. So maybe we still have a game then. Surely their Weakness Policy. I'm just surprised they didn't just go for Brutal Swing Steel Spike. Helping Hand Darkness would have been close, but it wouldn't have picked up the KO. But with Hail Chip, maybe a little bit. Yeah, so they were Weakness Policy. Icy Wind actually makes this interesting, too, because it means my opponent actually has damage into Togekiss, which isn't good for us, right? Ah, Metagross is just so good. Now, if you're my opponent, you can just Icy Wind, Hailstorm into Thundurus. There's no way we survive a +2 Hailstorm, right? I wouldn't think so. Okay. I could hope for an Icy Wind miss. Wow, Helping Hand Darkness actually would have been really close on Metagross. I'm gonna Max Lightning and I think Protect, but this feels pretty unwinnable to me. It's just a really good play turn 1 to Max Guard. I'm curious on the item on Tornadus, because if it's not Focus Sash, it is a little bit risky. Okay, yeah, I think we're just gonna feint to a Hailstorm here. Unless for some reason they Hailstorm Togekiss instead, but targeting Thundurus always makes sense. I guess I could have just max guarded Thundurus. But I like the idea of sacrificing Thundurus to get a free switch it into T-Tar at least. Or sorry, not T-Tar, Cortana. Ugh. Yeah, see, this is exactly why I was so worried about Tornadus Metagross yesterday against the Whimsicott's team comp. I guess Obstagoon, no, it just doesn't really do anything as a lead. Bring Cortana. Like, to win this matchup, I have to make really hard predictions. So it lends well to what I was just talking about earlier. Because I don't think what's a better lead? T-Tar isn't it. And knockoff still activates the weakness policy, I believe, right? So that, like, Obstagoon doesn't work either. I think it is Landorus-T. My opponent just made an incredible return one that I'm not sure a lot of players would make in their position, so kudos to them. Yeah. Like, I guess, like, I could have capitalized off my opponent making that return one and just, like, made, you know, targeted Tornadus, but that's... feels pretty difficult to actually predict that. Yeah, they're just going to get another Tailwind off now, but I feel like I at least have to knock out the Metagross. That's just Helping Hand. And they just protect again. Okay, well done. Oh. I meant to Helping Hand there, but whoops. As they Icy Wind. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's always a really safe play. Yeah, well done. Man, what's the Tornadus Metagross match? It's so interesting. Tornadus Metagross was, like, you know, pretty common way back, kind of fell off in the meta, and then had come back recently. Yeah, I just, like, without any consistent fire or ground type damage, the best bet really is that Landorus-T. I'm just, yeah, you know, like, I can't say I feel bad about this, because it's already a tough matchup, and my opponent made a really good read on turn 1. It happens sometimes, right? That's why matchups are an important element of Pokemon, and why I always talk about it so much in Road to Ranked, because team building is a really important element of Pokemon, right? And if you feel like you're struggling right from the start, you have to assess the specific matchups that you're going up against. Sounded like a really loud firework outside just now. Yeah, I mean, there's really no way we can win. So, yeah, props to my opponent for their return one. I wonder if they knew about the Max Darkness or not, because I don't think a lot of players would make that play, normally because you're not that worried about actually getting KO'd by with Metagross on turn 1. So it would have been really interesting to see how this game would have played out if I just, like, Thunderbolted Tornadus turn 1, but tough to feel comfortable making that play. Dracovish isn't really doing anything for us here. I'm just going to forfeit. I'm just thinking of how I could have played it better. I'm just going to quickly double check weakness policy knockoff. But I'm pretty sure it activates it. Yeah, it does activate it. Oh, we can check their team. Okay. I wanted to see what... Oh, it was Sash Tornadus. Okay, so that makes so much more sense. That their turn 1 play is so safe. Eviolite Magmar. I wish this thing came out, but we just got crushed before it could even have a chance to make an appearance. Iron Head, weakness policy, 109 speed. Iapapa Zapdos. This Magmar set is fascinating to me. Heatwave, Brick Break, Will-O-Wisp, Clear Smog. I really like that, honestly. Brick Break breaks through screens from Grimmsnarl. Will-O-Wisp is really valuable into physical attackers. Clear Smog helps against a lot of the weakness policy setups, but I just can't break through Tornadus Metagross. 218 speed. I'm just wondering if there's anything funky we can do with Obstagoon. The thing is, in order to beat this Metagross, I have to make sure weakness policy doesn't get activated. So if I were to replay that, I guess I could hard read my opponent T-Bolt and Dazzling turn 1, and then Helping Hand Max Darkness turn 2. It's not unwinnable, right? But it basically means I have to make really aggressive reads, and to be honest, I don't think I'm ever not targeting Metagross on turn 1 in a best of 1, but my opponent, because they had focus on Tornadus, like, that was just a super smart play. That covered for all of their bases, basically. Our best bet was probably to T-Bolt Dazzling and then Helping Hand Darkness into Metagross, but yeah, we needed basically a surprise burst amount of damage onto Metagross. Didn't get it in this game, and given the Focus Sash on Tornadus, I can never deny them Tailwind, so Just Metagross under Tailwind's already scary enough because it's already dealing so much damage, and I can't do that much damage to it in return. So Metagross definitely is not the easiest matchup. Despite us having Tyranitar and Obstagoon, this is exactly why I was super scared of it in yesterday's episode. But kudos to my opponent, really well played, and I really wish we could have gotten wrecked by Magmar, but it didn't even come out. It's just Tornadus plus Metagross, so yeah. Anyway, this was a really fun set of games to play with, so thanks so much as always for watching, and thank you to the team creator. Details for the team are in the description below. Let me just leave it on Magmar because it's so satisfying to see. But yeah, I mean, you know, like, Obstagoon was on this team kind of as a team challenge. Is it the most consistent Pokemon? Is it the best? Like, unfortunately not, right? But it was really instrumental in some of the wins that we had with this team, and once again, it's more of a fun Pokemon to play with this team specifically, and it does give you that element of surprise. And so, yeah, if you're interested in trying out Obstagoon, this is certainly a pretty interesting route to go with. So looking forward to playing some more games tomorrow. Thanks so much as always for watching, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.